Hello, you are listening to Disney Travel Tales, Episode 2. This is a space where you can escape the real world and immerse yourself in someone's recent Disney trip. I'm Jenny, and today you are listening to Part 2 of our Spring Break 2021 trip with my son Aiden. Look back at Episode 1 to hear the first part of our 7-day Disney World vacation. This show is brought to you by our sponsor, Trolley Lane Travel, and owner Becky Abruzzetti. Becky and her agents are Disney experts. You will get their personalized attention 24/7 from the moment you start planning all the way to the end of your trip. We used Becky to help us plan our trip, and I cannot tell you how great of an experience it was. All I had to do is pick the dates we wanted to travel, and she sent me multiple choices of resorts we could stay at. Then I picked the resort, and she did the rest. She also recommended restaurants and made all the reservations. Having Becky as our personal agent and advocate was priceless. When you book a trip with Trolley Lane Travel, you will get your own agent, and they will always be there for this vacation and future ones. Take advantage of their insider tips and tricks and their knowledge on promotions Disney is offering so you can feel comfortable you are getting the best deal. All of this and more is complimentary when you book your vacation. Visit them on the web at trolleylanetravel.com and go to their Request a Quote page for a free, no-obligation quote. They are also on Facebook and Instagram at Trolley Lane Travel LLC. Tell them Disney Travel Tales sent you. Okay, so let's finish up our Disney adventure. Imagine yourself at your favorite rest spot relaxing. Mine are the picnic tables back in Japan. And let's go. Hi, Aiden. We are back with part 2 of our trip to talk about the last half of our trip.
Yep.
Okay, so we are on Tuesday, March 16th, which was our 4th day. And this day we were headed to Magic Kingdom for the entire day because we had a Be Our Guest dinner reservation that evening. So the day before was really busy going to Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom. And so I decided to let everyone sleep in a little bit. Originally, I had wanted to rope drop, but at this point, I felt like sleep was a little bit more important than just getting there early, especially since we had just been there the evening before and got a lot of rides done.
And by not having a lot of sleep, this is around like day 4, I'm pretty sure. We would start getting pretty, or I guess the lack of sleep would start causing people to get pretty grumpy, or at least some people. And so just the more sleep, the better, in my opinion.
Yes. So I woke up around 8:30 and I did a mobile order for Landscape of Flavors. One trick that I had learned is to pick, as soon as I woke up, I picked a time window to pick up our breakfast. And then I ordered our breakfast. And as soon as I decided to leave the room to go pick it up, I tapped that I was already there. So by the time I got to the restaurant, my food was ready. The first day I didn't do that. I waited till I got there to tap that I was there. And I had to wait about 15 minutes before my food was ready. And there were a bunch of people just standing around waiting. So I kind of learned quickly. And that's a good tip for everyone, I think. Okay, so we ate breakfast and got dressed. We were really in no rush. We left the room around 10 a.m. to head to Magic Kingdom. And we went out to get on a bus. And the line for the bus at the resort was so long. I was really surprised the line was so long for being so late.
And I guess a lot of other people had the same mentality of sleeping in is better than just getting the rope drop.
I guess so. So we ended up ordering an Uber. We didn't have to wait very long for it at all, maybe 10 minutes. It was pretty quick. We took some pictures outside, and this was a hot day. Like when I had planned our trip to go in March, I looked at what the weather in Florida was going to be in March, and it said high 70s, low 80s, but the entire week we were there, it was in the 90s. It was so hot. Like when we watched the news in the hotel room, it said it was the hottest March, like record heat, which of course when we were there. So the Uber dropped us off at the Transportation and Ticket Center, and we decided to ride the ferry over to Magic Kingdom since we've never done that, and we had already done the monorail, so this was kind of fun. That was a really nice ride. It was breezy.
I really liked it. It didn't take that long, and it was just really relaxing.
It was really nice, and we got a good look at the Polynesian Resort, which we had never really been close up to before, and it was fun. It was a nice little boat ride. So once we got to Magic Kingdom, we got a photo pass photographer to take some pictures of us in front of the castle, and we went into a couple of the shops on Main Street, and we decided to head over to Space Mountain. Asher really wanted to ride that again, so pretty much all the wait times for all the rides were kind of long at this point, so we knew we were going to just be standing in line no matter which ride we went to, so we just decided to do Space Mountain again. And on our way over there, we saw Stitch standing out, so we stopped and took some pictures with him. Space Mountain had a 45-minute posted wait, and it took the whole 45 minutes. It was a pretty long wait, and most of the queue was outside in the sun, and it was very hot.
But we also used rider swap, so some of us got to actually go on the ride twice, which I made the wait didn't feel like as bad because some of us got to do it twice. But
yeah, so
Asher and
Aiden got to ride the ride twice. So that was the last time we did Space Mountain. So after that, we walked over to Winnie the Pooh, and it had like a 20-minute posted wait, and I think we only waited 10 minutes. We got on that ride pretty quickly. We have never done this ride, so I kind of wanted to do it, and Amelia really likes Winnie the Pooh, and it was cute. I enjoyed it.
It was one of those like older rides. Like it didn't have any like flashy like technology. It was one of those just like the ride moved and it kind of went over the story of Winnie the Pooh, like the first movie.
Yeah, and you sat in the honey pot. It was cute. After that, we grabbed some lunch. Cameron and I got food from Friar's Nook. I got the loaded buffalo chicken tots, and he got the bratwurst and the loaded buffalo chicken tots as well. And we loved our food. It was delicious. The kids didn't really want to eat from there, so I mobile ordered them Cosmic Rays, and they walked over there, got their food, and then got us a table. And so we just took our food over there, and we sat in a table outside in the shade, and it was actually really nice. It was a nice lunch. Everyone liked their food.
But the food, it was clearly like cafeteria food, like the type of cafeteria food that you'd get, like just a quick grab and go kind of situation.
You got a burger, correct?
Yes, I did. And it isn't like it's not a must do at all. But if you're looking for like a quick snack and you're in the area and you're pretty hungry, this is a really good option for that.
The one thing I wasn't completely prepared for was there really wasn't a lot of quick service choices at Magic Kingdom. Some of the restaurants weren't open yet, and we had already planned to do a sit-down dinner, so we didn't want to do a sit-down lunch. And so finding food, it wasn't that easy at Magic Kingdom. Some of the other parks it was a lot easier at, so I would definitely prepare for that. So after that, we looked over, and Tomorrowland Speedway had a 5-minute wait. There was nobody in line. So we walked over there. By the time we got there, the line had gotten a little bit longer, but I think we only waited like 10, maybe 15 minutes. It was pretty quick.
The line moves very fast in that ride.
Yeah, it moved pretty quickly. And I rode with Asher, and he drove, and Cameron rode with Amelia, and she drove, and then Aiden was all by himself. Do you like that ride?
Yes, I did. There is something about it. Some gas pedals kind of get stuck sometimes, so it's harder to stop the car. Like for me, I would have to put my foot behind the pedal and push it back manually to stop the car. And so you can definitely tell the ride is old. But it still is like fun, and it's really just cool to do that.
Yeah, I think it's a fun ride. Did you bump into anyone?
Yes. So since my car was one of the cars that got stuck, the pedal got stuck, it was very hard for me. Well, it was pretty hard for me to stop. And my dad and my sister were in front of me, And so I kept bumping into them because I couldn't get the car to stop.
Yeah, Asher bumped into the people in front of us. He really wanted to. I told him not to, and he still did. But I don't think they cared. It's not like he slammed into them, he just barely bumped them. So after that, we decided to do Astro Orbiter. This is another ride we've never done. I've been to Disney World 4 times, and I've never done this ride, so we just decided to give it a go. It had a posted 30-minute wait, and I think we waited 20 minutes. We didn't wait the whole time. And I was shocked at how much I actually loved this ride. This was a really fun ride.
I really like this ride. I think it's really cool, and you get a really good view of the park. But it's also really short.
It is really short.
It's only like a minute.
I wish it was longer. But I have always seen long lines for this ride and long wait times, and I just thought, why would anyone wait for that ride? And now I know, because it was a lot of fun. I would love to do this ride at night.
Yes.
So we decided to leave Tomorrowland because we were moving along. We were also kind of tired and wanted a little break in the shade. So we found a popcorn and ice cream cart right outside of Tomorrowland, kind of by the castle. And I bought a souvenir popcorn bucket. And then me, Amelia, and Aiden got Mickey bars. Asher and Cameron wanted something frozen, so they kind of walked back into Fantasyland looking for something. And while we were eating our Mickey bars, we saw the Tinkerbell cavalcade. And that was pretty cute. She sits on a big, pirate chest full of treasures spilling out. So we walked back into Fantasyland and met up with Cameron and Asher. They were eating a frozen lemonade cup. And Amelia and I got some photo pass pictures by Cinderella's carriage. And then after we all finished our treats, the kids wanted to ride Big Thunder again. So we started walking that way, and we saw a princess cavalcade. And this one, it was pretty big. It had Merida on a horse, Snow White, Tiana, Belle, Ariel, Aurora, Helena of Avalor, Cinderella, and Fairy Godmother on a big float. And it was pretty cool. I think it was just fun walking down the street, and then you hear the music, so you know something's coming.
It's very obvious whenever a cavalcade's coming. It could be in the completely other direction, but you can just hear it coming.
Did you like the cavalcades more than the parades?
Kinda. They're a lot shorter than parades. It's not too much out of the way to just see one, but it's also very little, and there weren't very much cavalcades, so just half and half.
Yeah, Disney always had really fun parades. But yeah, I agree. So we got to Big Thunder, and it said a 20-minute wait, but we really didn't wait. We kind of just walked straight through the queue and got on the ride. I think it took
It was a
minutes.
5-minute wait. It's really a short line.
It was so funny. Big Thunder always said it had a longer wait, but there was no one there. You just walked right up. And I can't remember if it was this time or the night before, but one of the times we rode it, it got stuck. Remember, it had to stop, and we were stopped on a hill.
I think it was this time.
I think it was this time as well, which that was kind of funny. We were just sitting there on the ride.
Yeah.
But we loved that ride, so that was fun. After this, we decided to go over to Peter Pan. I really wanted to ride Peter Pan on this trip, and I had checked my Disney app, and it said there was only a 20-minute wait. So we got there, and we got in line, and the line actually goes through Columbia Harbor House Restaurant, which was kind of interesting. But that was also nice because it was air-conditioned. We ended up waiting 45 minutes for this ride. I'm not sure what happened. We really weren't moving very much. I wonder if they used this time to start cleaning. But it was a really long wait, and being that I was kind of the only one that wanted to ride it, I would say y'all probably didn't think it was worth it.
Oh no, I don't think it was worth it. The wait was incredibly long, and the ride was incredibly short, and it's basically just a Winnie the Pooh ride. Except
you fly through the air.
Well, yeah, that is true, but at the same time, I don't know. It just felt like the Winnie the Pooh ride just different aesthetic and a way longer wait.
So which one do you like better, Peter Pan or Winnie the Pooh?
Um, if I said they both, I wouldn't go on either of them if they had over 40 minute waits, maybe even over 30-minute waits. But if they were like both 20-minute waits, I would say the Peter Pan one's better just because it's in the air instead of on the ground.
Yeah, I like this ride, and Amelia really liked it, and she had never been on it, so I kind of wanted her to go on it. So after this, we went over to be our guest. We got there right around our reservation time at 5:30, and we were seated right away. We sat in the room with Belle and the Beast statue. I don't remember the name of that room. And we kind of sat in the corner by the exit door, so we honestly didn't have great seats at this restaurant. I just want to mention that up until this point, all three of our kids were ordering off the kids' menu at every restaurant because they do not have distinguished palates. And so they like simple foods. And Aiden is 15 and Asher is 13. And so they shouldn't be eating off the kids' menu, but every restaurant let us. As soon as we sat down, the cast member told us that Aiden and Asher would be paying adult prices no matter what they ordered. So that was kind of disheartening because I think it's $62 an adult. And I knew they would not pick anything off the adult menu. I had read online that sometimes they let kids order off the kids menu. But yeah, he pretty much told us no right away.
Yeah, it's a really expensive restaurant, and it's just there's better choices necessarily. Like California Grill, I thought the food was way better than it was here.
Oh, definitely. Like the food here was good. So yeah, we ended up paying $62 for a kid's meal, 2 kids' meals each, which was crazy. I got the French onion soup, which I loved. I thought it was amazing. And then to start off, Cameron got the assorted meats and cheese selection, and he really liked that. And then Aiden and Asher got salads. And it was literally chopped lettuce with some tomatoes.
Mm-hmm. It was, you could have bought it at the store. It wasn't very special.
It was so basic. It was not amazing at all. And then I got the filet mignon, and it was delicious, and it was cooked perfectly, and I loved it. And Cameron got the same thing, and he agreed. The steak was very good. And then the boys got the grilled beef tenderloin. Did y'all like that?
Yes, that was actually, I really liked the way that tasted. It was really good.
And Amelia got mac and cheese because she had to get food. They would not let her get food, and she ate, I think, 2 bites. But she did get a cute dessert that she could paint, and she really liked that. And then we all liked our desserts. It was a dessert trio, and it had a macaroon and like a dark chocolate cake ball, and then the gray stuff. And that was just like gray frosting kind of.
Yeah, and a white chocolate cup.
Yeah, and a white chocolate cup. And I think Amelia had the white chocolate cup that she got to paint and then eat. So it was cute. The desserts were good, and the meal was good. It was just, we spent over $400, and I was kind of not so excited about that. But it was a nice experience. The restaurant's beautiful. I really wanted to see the inside of the restaurant, and so we definitely got to. The Beast came through twice to just kind of walk around and wave at everyone. He didn't really come to the tables, but he did wave at us, and that was fun. And then we walked around the restaurant so we could see it, and we went into the room with the rose. And while we were there, it thundered, and so the picture changed, and that was a really cool experience. Like, that room was really fun. I kind of wish we were in that room. If I was going to go back, I would request that, because I think it would have been a better experience if we were in that room, because it was just fun in there. What do you think about the restaurant overall? The way it looked?
The way it looked, I thought it was really cool. Like, it looked like the castle. It isn't like super huge, but like the area that it had, they did it really well.
Yeah, it was nice. So after we left there, I wanted to go to Gaston's Tavern and get cinnamon rolls to take back to the room for breakfast, but it was already closed. And that's another thing, I think, if you are going, you need to look at what time the food places are closing because some of them are closing way before park close. Because this was probably like 6:30 and it was already closed and the park was not closing until 8. So we were really tired after dinner. Like, we were kind of done everything that we wanted to do at Magic Kingdom. We had talked about doing Seven Dwarfs again, but it had a 70-minute wait, I think. So we just decided to call it a night and go back to the room. While we were walking out of Magic Kingdom, I did an Instacart order for some more water and some snacks, and I ordered some beer in a cooler with ice so that when we got back to the room, we'd have that. And then as we were walking out, we stopped and got a PhotoPass photographer take pictures of us by the Walt and Mickey statue with the castle in the back. And those ended up being my favorite pictures from the whole trip. The lighting was so nice and there's really weren't that many people walking around. So that was great. So around this time, it was probably like 7:15 as we were walking out and leaving. And when we got to the bus line, there was no one there. So we got on the first bus and made it back to our room pretty quickly. That was nice. Mm-hmm. So if you don't want to have to Uber or you don't want to wait in a long bus line, you need to leave before park close. So we picked up our stuff from Bell Services, our groceries. We went back to the room and we just relaxed. And this was when having a big room was really nice. We all kind of had our own space. We just kind of stretched out and watched TV and did whatever we wanted. And I really enjoyed that, didn't you?
Yeah, it's just having a nice room, just big enough for your family, is better than having a room that's like closer to everything and stuff. Just because you're never going to want to be in your room necessarily if you have a really compact and just uncomfortable room. Well, if you have a bigger one, you might be further away from everything, but you won't be like annoyed being in it.
Yeah, I totally agree. This was when having a big room was perfect. So we ended up getting hungry, or some of us did. So I ordered some food from Landscape of Flavors. Cameron got the turkey sandwich and fries and said it was good. And Aiden and Asher both got a slice of cheese pizza and they just said it was okay. It wasn't amazing. I wasn't really hungry. I got a side Caesar salad and it was okay.
It was just really more just cafeteria food, stuff like that. It comes out really quickly, but it's not like amazing. It's just,
So overall thoughts on the day. I thought it was really fun. I felt like this was a great day. We didn't do all the rides that I had wanted us to do. Like we didn't do Jungle Cruise. We didn't do Pirates. We didn't do Splash Mountain. But we didn't do the aerial ride. But honestly, it just came down to that time in the day and what the wait times were and just kind of everyone's mood in that moment. And the Jungle Cruise never got under a 60-minute wait. And from what I had seen on touring plans, that's how long people were waiting. And kind of the same thing with Pirates. The aerial ride didn't have that long of a wait. But again, it wasn't a must-do. Like the kids really wanted to do Space Mountain and Big Thunder again. And so those kind of took priority, which was fine.
Because it was just more fun overall. Because those are some of my favorite rides at Disney.
What was your favorite moment of this day?
Favorite moment of this day? Probably just doing Big Thunder again. I'm pretty sure I rode this time. I rode with my sister on it, and it was just really fun seeing her. Whenever she rides a roller coaster, and it's not like incredibly fast, it's just really funny seeing how she reacts.
She's very funny. She has very big reactions. So I agree. It's fun being by her on these rides. Okay, so our next day was Wednesday, March 17th, and this was our 4th park day. We were going to Hollywood Studios first, and then we planned on leaving around 1:30, 2 o'clock to Park Hop. So we woke up early again to try to get the Rise boarding pass. We actually had debated doing this. Asher said that he thought we shouldn't try to get it to give other people a chance, but Aiden really wanted to ride it again, and I didn't care. Like, I felt whatever everyone wanted to do, we do. So we just decided to give it a try to see if we could get it. So I woke Aiden up around 6:50. We ran downstairs to our place, and Aiden got us boarding pass number 32.
Mm-hmm.
So we were
So we
riding
ended
it
up getting it again.
which was exciting. I was excited about that. So we rode the bus to Hollywood Studios. We didn't even try Skyliner because we knew that was going to be a mess. We got there at 8:40, and the park opened at 8, so we got there late. And we went straight to Tower of Terror. This was my must-do, and I had told everyone, we're going to do that first to make sure we do it, no matter how long the line is. And so we waited about 45 minutes, but it didn't feel that long. I'm not sure why.
Mm-hmm. This ride just has a really nice just aesthetic. And it was also really early in the morning, and so like most of us were half asleep, so it made the time go by faster. And we also played Heads Up,
Oh, yeah,
which
we
I'd say
downloaded Heads Up.
That's a really good time waster while waiting in line. It's just fun.
I agree. I think everyone should do that.
Mm-hmm.
So Asher and Amelia did not want to ride this ride. They don't like drops. And once we got to the top, the cast members were kind of funny. We told them these two don't want to ride. They can go down by themselves. And so they were like, well, they need to take that elevator over there, and hopefully they get in the right elevator. And Asher was so nervous because they were just messing with him. But he, I think, was scared he was going to accidentally get on the ride. So he was like, which one? Which one? Is it this one? Is it this one? But I love that ride. It was fun.
Mm-hmm. It's a must-do. It's just it's a classic.
Yeah, I just think it's so fun. I love the drops. I could ride it over and over again and have no problem. So after that ride, we went to do Toy Story Mania. Everyone wanted to do that one again. Or I should say the kids wanted to do that one again.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were only going to be here for a short amount of time, we kind of just let everyone say, oh, I want to do this, or I want to do this. And we just kind of went and did it depending on wait times.
And we already did like almost all the rides there. The only rides we really missed out on was like Buzz's Teacup ride.
And so that is the alien swirling saucers. We did not do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that was like the only one we really didn't do. That and the Muppets.
In the Muppets, but Amelia's terrified of Muppets, so that was never even an option.
Yeah.
I had wanted to maybe do this. Do what?
Asher really wanted to do.
I had wanted to do the swirling saucers, but it just had such a long wait, and I don't know. I just don't know if it's worth that wait. So we went to Toy Story Mania. We waited 10 minutes. It was so fast. I think the only reason we waited was just walking through that queue because it's pretty long. Right when we got off that, they called our boarding group for Rise. So we started walking over there. And we stopped at the Resistance Supply booth, and Aiden got a ball cap because it was really hot and sunny. And after Asher got one, I think he was like, I want a hat.
Yeah, I kind of wanted one just to block the sun.
So the first time we rode this, we had mentioned that there was only one other family, and they had 3 people. So it was 8 of us on this whole ride. This time, there was actually a line.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was surprised. I was like, whoa, we have to stand in line?
Mm-hmm.
So we had to wait. We didn't have to wait very long. And we got on, and it was fun. Once again, it was fun. And I like riding it more than once because you kind of see things you might not have seen the first time. The first time, you're just trying to take everything in. And this time was kind of fun. What do you think?
Yeah, but I also really like the first one because that was like our second ride on the entire trip, and so it just like set the bar for like what a really good ride would be.
Yeah. I agree. So after we got off that ride, we walked back to one of our favorite beer stops on Sunset Boulevard, and Cameron and I grabbed a beer, and we did a photo pass in front of Tower of Terror.
With Olaf.
And after this, we walked over to the Disney Presents One Man's Dream. Amelia loves Walt Disney. She's just very interested in him. And She just was like, I really want to go see that. I want to go see that. So we went through there. I think that's fascinating. It's like a museum, and it has stuff from Walt's childhood. And then at the end, there's a movie, and I really enjoyed it. Did you like this?
Yeah, it's a really good, just like, if you've already done everything at Hollywood and you have time to spare, I think this is something really cool. Or if you're just interested in Walt Disney, then it's a must do. But yeah, it's just a really cool little thing.
I kind of feel like everyone should have to watch this because I think a lot of people come to Disney World and they don't really understand like what his vision was or why he started these parks. And this really kind of shows you like who he was and why he did what he did. And it kind of makes you appreciate the parks more, I think. Because he did not start the parks to just make money like people start businesses nowadays. It actually meant something. So, and if you ask Amelia what her favorite thing on our whole vacation was, this is what she says, which I think is so cute. So after that, we had an early lunch reservation at 50 Primetime Cafe. So at 11:45, so we walked over there. And on our way, we saw Donald hanging out in front of the Hollywood Brown Derby on that lawn. So we stopped and took pictures. And then we got to our lunch about 10 minutes late, but they seated us right away. And I loved this restaurant. I loved everything about this restaurant.
I agree. This restaurant was just really cool.
It was, the decorations, the cast members, everything was so great. The food was delicious. So we ordered the crab cakes for the appetizer. They were very good. For lunch, I got Aunt Liz's golden fried chicken, and it was so delicious. I absolutely loved it. Cameron got the sampling of Mom's favorite recipes, which came with fried chicken, pot roast, and meatloaf, and he loved it. It was so much food. Like, I looked at his plate and thought he's going to need to take a nap after this, but he didn't. He said it was great. Aiden, you got goofy salmon with corn and french fries. How was that?
It was really good. So it was a lot different than the other salmon I had because this time it was like grilled almost. And it was really good. Like it was just it was a lot different from the other things I had, but I also was like I really liked it. It was refreshing.
Good. Asher got chicken strips with corn and french fries. He liked it as well. And Amelia just ate french fries. We didn't even try to order her food because we knew it would not be successful. I had told the kids that they were going to get yelled at or talking to if they didn't eat their vegetables. But our waitress, she did not do that. She was pretty calm and she was super, super nice. So I kind of knew from the start she wasn't going to give us a hard time about anything, which was fine. I kind of wish she would have given everyone a hard time, but she was so nice. It was fun.
Because that's one of the big things about the restaurant. But I actually preferred she didn't. Even though I did eat the vegetables because I like corn. Corn's really good. But still, like, I don't know. I think I would have not liked it as much, but I liked it a lot more this way around.
Yeah, I know. Because when I told you, you were like, wait, what? And then we got a brownie sundae for dessert, and that was super good. Everyone ate it. We shared
really
it.
Good.
It was really good. We were almost fighting over it.
It was so good.
So I think this was one of our favorite restaurants. I know this was one of my favorite restaurants on the trip.
This restaurant also has really good drinks. Like, I think I got this, like, vanilla-ish Coke, wasn't it? And that was so good.
Yes.
Like, it had some really just, like, really good drinks.
Yes. So after that, we just kind of walked around Hollywood Boulevard. We did some souvenir shopping. We knew we were going to be leaving pretty soon to head over to Epcot. We didn't want to get there too early since they weren't going to let us in until 2. But after we shopped, we walked out and got on one of the friendship boats to ride from Hollywood to Epcot. Asher really wanted to ride the Skyliner because he thought it was going to be faster, but we had never ridden a friendship boat, so I decided it would be fun to give it a try. So we waited maybe 10 minutes for the boat to get there. It was fun. It was a nice ride. There were some kind of grouchy older ladies that were trying to tell us where to sit because of the markers. And we were like, we're all together. We can sit together. But I don't know. They were just very strict about who was going to sit there, where. And they weren't cast members or anything. They were just ladies on vacation who were, I guess, trying to boss everyone around. Okay, so after the ladies kind of told us where to sit, me, Asher, and Amelia sat inside the boat, and then Cameron and Aiden sat outside. So the boat, like I said, we've never ridden these boats before, and the boat stops at the Swan and Dolphin first. So we're just sitting in the boat, waiting, and I look out, and I see Cameron and Aiden walking on the walkway, and I was like, what are they doing? So we're like trying to yell at them, but they can't hear us. So we have to get off the boat and run and chase them. And we're like, where are y'all going? Well, Cameron had to use the restroom. And he thought we were getting off anyways.
So the other day, previously, the day that we didn't go to the parks, we walked through this area. And I remember that you can walk into Epcot from this area. So I thought that was the only transportation that it went from Hollywood to the Swan and Dolphin. I didn't know it actually went to Epcot. And since my dad needed to use the bathroom, I was just like, well, we're getting off here, so he would go there.
Yeah. So that was kind of, I felt a little annoyed, honestly, but once they came back, it was no big deal. And honestly, we should have just walked over to Epcot because we waited for a boat. We got on a boat, and then it went to Boardwalk, and then it went to Beach, and then it went to Epcot. So we could have just walked in a shorter amount of time, but we didn't know that, and it was fine. So once we were really excited to go to Epcot. I love Epcot. I had never been to the Flower and Garden Festival, and there were some souvenirs I really wanted that I had seen online. So I was so excited to be there. We got there right around 2:00 as they were letting us in. We went to the International Gateway in France. We took pictures of some of the topiaries over there, and I stopped at Les Vins des Chefs de France and got the citron drink. It's a slushie with Grey Goose citron, vodka, and lemonade, and it was so good. I loved it.
Me, Asher, and Sissy got the ice cream.
Yes.
On a cone. Yes. It was really refreshing. Like, it was just normal vanilla ice cream, but it was really refreshing, and I really liked it.
It was like soft serve. And because it was really hot. It was really hot today. So
yeah, it was really hot.
Everyone kind of needed something refreshing. Cold. Yeah. Cameron went to the La Isla Fresca booth. This was one of the Flower and Garden booths, and he got the sugarcane shrimp skewer with steamed rice and coconut lime sauce. He said it was delicious. He also got the Ivanhoe Park Brewing Company Hibiscus Guavacation Sour Beer, and he also really liked that. I was like, you got a beer called Sour Beer, but it was actually kind of good. I was surprised. So after that, we just started walking. We went to the right. So we walked by Morocco and that area. We saw one of the pop-up souvenir shops with flower and garden merchandise. So I went in and bought the Orange Bird Spirit jersey, and I bought the Flower and Garden pin. And then I bought the Spikes Pollination Exploration for Amelia. And so we started working on that. And that was actually really fun because that made us walk into each country to find something, which was nice. After that, we found a nice shady spot kind of by the water and drank our drinks and ate the ice cream and all that stuff. And then we went to Japan. Aiden was excited to go to Japan. He really likes Japan.
Yes. It was really cool.
And we went into the building and saw an exhibit on kawaii, and Amelia thought that was really cute. So we walked back outside, and there was a drink cart, and Cameron got an Ichiban beer, and I got an Ichiban beer that had frozen foam on top. It was really interesting. Not amazing, but it was pretty good. It was just kind of nice. It was almost like a slushy beer. We sat on those big stairs right there in the shade and kind of relaxed, and the kids went into that big gift shop. What was that like?
So the gift shop was huge, and it was spread into several different portions. The first portion, which was the way I entered through, which I think this is the main entrance, but it was just like media. It was a media area, so it had a ton of anime and video games and stuff like that. Didn't have like actual video games, but just merchandise like T-shirts, pillows, bags, hoodies, stuff like that. Then as you kept going, you got into like a cultural area, and there's this one area, like this very small room that had a ton of different like Japanese cultural attire. There's another area that had like statues and stuff like that, and like swords on display that you could buy. So a lot of cultural things. There's this shelf full of like fans and stuff like that. But like yeah, so like the back of the store was really like a whole bunch of like cultural and stuff like that, while the front half was like media and stuff. So, but it was huge and it was really cool.
Yeah, I kind of wish I would have gone in. I was just tired. Wanted to just sit in the shade and kind of people watch, but I was glad the kids at least went in. So when we were done there, we stayed there probably 30 to 40 minutes. I feel like we were there for a while. As we were leaving, we stopped to take PhotoPass pictures outside. And then because we were doing the Spikes pollination game, we had to stop in every country and go look for something to put on the paper. On the little game thing, you have to look for different plants. And so that was really fun. We went into the American Adventure and saw the art gallery there. And Amelia tried to convince her dad to buy her a $1,600 portrait of Marie.
She really likes Marie.
He did not buy it.
That would have been a bit expensive, just
for a picture of a cat.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
I don't think she really understands the concept of money yet.
I don't either. So then we went and we walked around Italy. And then in Germany, we looked at the cute little train village. I love that. I think that's so fun. And they also had pretty topiaries of Snow White and the Dwarfs. We stopped at a drink cart and the kids got a drink and Cameron and I got a beer. There were these really good grapefruit beers. And Asher got a giant pretzel. And then we found a shady spot in the back of Germany. And we just sat and chilled. Took a little break.
Asher really likes
drink.
pretzels. Like, when after Magic Kingdom, every time we went to Magic Kingdom, he'd always ask for a pretzel for what he wanted. And so when he got this giant pretzel, it was really silly.
It was huge. But it was actually really good. I ate some of it too. So while we were in Germany, a princess cavalcade came by with Aurora, Snow White, and Jasmine. And then we just kept looking for plants for the Spike game. We walked through China, stopped at a souvenir shop, and the kids played with these little puppets for a while. And then once we got to Norway, the Frozen ride was broken, which I was really bummed. I was so excited when we walked up because I was like, oh, there's no wait. Let's get in line. And then it was broken. That's why there was no wait. So we did take some pictures with the Anna and Elsa topiaries. And I really wanted to go into Mexico. That was one of my must-dos. But the line just to get in Mexico was really long. And at this point, the kids really wanted to do rides. So we stopped at La Cantina de San Angel. And the kids got some more drinks and churros. And then Cameron stopped at Choza de Margarita and got us empanadas and margaritas. Oh my gosh, this was so good. This was one of my favorite snacks we had. It was absolutely delicious. And we just sat on the bridge, right? That's right there, and ate, just sat along the line. Okay, so then we took some more pictures with topiaries after we ate. They had so many cute ones. And we stopped and took pictures at the butterfly wall, and we found Spike in some more places and made our way to Future World. And our first stop there was Test Track. The wait was about 45 minutes, and that's about how long we waited. And we really loved this ride. This was so fun.
Test Track's I would say is the must do to do at Epcot. It's just one of the best rides. One of the best rides in Disney, entire Disney World. It's just so cool. This time around, when we went, we didn't get to customize the cars because of COVID, so that was pretty upsetting. But it still was just super fun.
I agree. This ride was actually more fun than I remembered it being. It was fun. And Amelia loved it. This was her first time and she loved it. So after we got off that, we stopped for more food. We did a lot of eating and drinking in Epcot. We stopped at the Sunshine Griddle and Asher got the Fruit Loop shake. And he said it was good. He said it was kind of strange, but he drank it. And then Cameron got the corned beef brisket hash with house-made potato barrels, onions, peppers, cheese curds, and a soft poached egg with Tabasco hollandaise. That's a very long description. He loved it. I ate a couple of bites. It was really good. And then we got the fried cinnamon roll bites. Those were also really good.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a nice snack. So then we walked over to Spaceship Earth. I've never waited for this ride, and there was actually kind of a long line. But we only waited about 15 minutes. And this ride is so old, and it smells very old, but I like it. I think it's fun. It was darker than I remembered. And I don't know if it's because it was sunny outside, so our eyes just couldn't adjust, but it was kind of dark. What do you think?
Yeah, it was really dark. It was kind of hard to see some parts of it.
Yeah, I agree. Do you like this ride?
Kinda. I don't know. There's, overall at Disney, there's better rides, but for Epcot, it's one of those, like, it's the giant golf ball, so it's kind of, you want to go see it.
Yeah, it's an original. I feel like you kind of have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if we went all the time, we wouldn't do it, but we don't go to Disney all the time, so I feel like we should.
Mm-hmm. It's just in the giant golf ball, so, I mean, you gotta go check it out.
True. So by this point, it was about 7:30, and we were getting kind of tired. We decided to start heading back towards the Skyliner. We stopped for more pictures and found Spike in more places. And two of the things I wanted on this trip was the Spirit jersey and then the Orange Bird Sipper Cup. And I had read online and heard on other podcasts that the line to get the Orange Bird Sipper Cup was always long and people were waiting forever. So when we got over to where the citrus blossom was and there was no one in line, I was so excited. So I went and I bought one Orange Bird Sipper, and it came with an orange lemon smoothie. And my kids hate smoothies. Like, they never drink smoothies. So I thought I was going to be the one drinking this, but they ended up fighting over this drink.
This drink was so good. It was like this orange lemon, kind of tasted like a creamsicle. It was just so good. Like, it tasted amazing. Like, I wanted to get, like, more? But they only sold it in the sipper cup, so it was super expensive. But, like,
it was just expensive for a drink. Because you got a souvenir cup. And we only brought carry-on, so I'm like, how many souvenir orange birds can we pack in our bag? Like, we weren't even going to have room.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, that was kind of disappointing because you couldn't get the drink in, like, an actual normal cup. But it was really good.
Was this one of your favorite things on the whole trip?
Uh-huh. It's my favorite drink from the whole trip, definitely.
You've been talking about it, so it had to have been really good.
Oh, yeah. It's so good. It's one of the best. If you can get it, then you should get it. It tastes so good.
So we headed over to Canada, and we walked back in Canada looking for a flower for the spike pollination thing. And we saw the waterfall, and it was night, and the lights were shining on it, and it was so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never seen this, and this was so nice. I loved it.
Yeah, it was so cool, especially because there was like no one there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just, I don't know, it was just really pretty to look at.
That is one of the nice things about Epcot is the park is so big, the only place it felt crowded was Mexico.
Yeah.
It was very crowded around Mexico. But everywhere else, it really wasn't even that crowded, it felt like. It was so nice. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And at Test Track, it was very crowded at Test Track.
Well, yeah, but that makes sense. Like, everybody does Test Track.
That's true. So then we walked over to the UK, and we stopped at a beer cart and got green beers because it was St. Patrick's Day. So we had to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were just going to grab a snack. Aiden was really hungry, and he loves fish. So we went over to the Yorkshire County Fish Shop, and I had walked with Amelia back by the gazebo and the flower gardens behind the gift shop over there in the UK. And Cameron took Aiden to the fish shop, and they ended up getting food for everyone because Cameron said it just looked so good. He figured this could just be our dinner. So we all got fish and chips, and then we found kind of a nice little spot over there and sat down and ate. And I think we sat here for like 30 minutes just eating, drinking, and talking. And I actually really enjoyed this part of the trip.
Yeah, I really liked it as well. The food was really good and it was just nice because like a lot of people were leaving the park, so it was really just it wasn't packed. It was just a really nice area to eat.
It's funny that some of the moments from our trip that were the most fun to me were when we were just like sitting and hanging out. Like
Hmm.
just being together and we're all happy, and it was just stuff like this was so nice. So after we ate, we stopped at the last gift shop before you get to the Skyliner and turned in our paper for the Spikes pollination extravaganza thing, and you get to choose a prize, and you get to choose from four different kinds of plates. They had mini, orange bird, figment. Maybe that was it. Anyways, Amelia chose the orange bird plates. They were so cute. And then the Skyliner line was really long, but we didn't care. We just got in it, and I think we were
Yeah,
all
it
just like
didn't
happy.
even feel that long. It like at Hollywood Studios, it was like really long. Like
Yeah.
that was gonna take forever. But the Skyliner here, it only took like 15 minutes, 20. It wasn't
Yeah,
even that long.
it didn't take that long. It looked long. And maybe it was because we knew we really had no other option. We would have had to walk all the way back up to the front to get to the buses. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we were like, okay, we'll wait. And it was fun riding the Skyliner at night. I liked it.
Yeah, huh.
This was a very late night. We didn't get back to the room until around 11.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, this was my second favorite day. I loved this day. I loved the ease of the day. I loved the breaks that we took where we just sat and talked and ate and drank and sometimes
Yeah, it
just
was a really long day. We did a lot this day.
we did do a lot. I just think it's important to take time to relax and just look around and take in the moment.
Uh-huh.
What was your favorite part of this day?
Favorite part was probably the orange bird drink. It was so good. I want to get another one.
That's so funny. My favorite part was probably either the fish and chips sitting there eating that or the drink I got in France because that was so good. Like I knew we were coming back to Epcot the next day and I could not wait to go get that drink again. It was delicious.
I really wanted to get another orange bird drink, but we were gonna have to get another cup and we couldn't.
And the line was
So
long
disappointing.
the next time we went back.
I would have waited in three of those lines. It was so good.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so our last park day was Thursday, March 18th. And we were supposed to have breakfast this morning at Topolino's at 9:30, but I actually, after our Be Our Guest eye-opening experience where we figured that we were going to have to pay adult prices for the kids, I went and looked at the Topolino's breakfast menu and was like, I cannot pay $62 for my kids to eat waffles.
So yeah, I'm not a breakfast person. I don't even eat much for breakfast at home. I usually get like either cereal or just I don't know, just not really like any. I don't really eat much for breakfast. So a breakfast restaurant would be the same way around. Like I don't know, paying like a ton of money for a person or just my entire family just in general. We're just or at least the kids, not necessarily the parents, just the kids. Just we're not breakfast people.
Yeah, I mean, there was some really good looking food I would have loved to try, but yeah, I just couldn't do it for the kids. They would have ordered waffles and bacon, and I know it probably would have been fun. But again, if we would have gone to Topolino's, we would have had to wake up pretty early and get moving pretty quickly to make sure we got there on time because the Skyliner was just not super reliable. And so the morning before, I canceled so that we could just relax. We were also supposed to have lunch at Via Napoli, but I canceled that as well the day before because I really wanted our last day to be stress-free, appointment-free, reservation-free. Just we could do whatever we wanted when we wanted. And after we had been to Epcot the day before and I saw all the food booths and all the food options, I just didn't want to waste time sitting in a restaurant. And our lunch reservation was, I think, at like 2:00, and that's when we could park hop. And we really wanted to go back to Animal Kingdom. So I knew, and they closed earlier than the other parks. And so I knew that if we went and ate lunch, we would have had less time there, and I would have rather spent more time at the park. And I think it ended up working out, even though Aiden got mad when he found out I canceled a reservation for us to eat at a pizza restaurant. He was like, why did you do that? But I made up for it. We'll talk about that later, but I did make up for it. Okay, so we ended up sleeping in. Epcot didn't open until 11, so we had plenty of time. I did the usual breakfast pickup as I did every morning. I ordered 2 house potatoes, 2 sides of eggs, 2 sides of bacon and coffee, and then the kids ate powdered donuts in the room that I had got from Instacart. So we got dressed and we headed to the bus for Epcot. We got in line for the bus around 9:51, and we were at Epcot about 10:27. They were already letting people in. So we took some pictures out front, and then we headed to Soarin'. The posted wait was 50 minutes, and we waited about 40. This line didn't feel that long. It kind of went quickly. This was the only ride we did here today, and I like that ride. We had fun. Amelia thought it was really cool. It was her first time. Even though I have to say, this ride felt different this time since we had already done Flight of Passage, and it's kind of the same virtual flying type of thing, but 1,000 times better.
Flight of Passage was so much better.
So much better.
Like, it's probably the best ride at Disney, Flight of Passage. It's just so good. It's worth the wait.
Do you like Soarin'?
Yeah, Soarin' was alright. It was, I guess it's the only thing I really have to say about it. It was alright. Like, it's not worth a super long wait, but if it's a quick wait, then yeah, I'd totally do it.
So after that, we walked around and took pictures. The line for Figment was really long. I kind of wanted to ride that, but I think it was like 30 minutes, and I just didn't want to wait that long for that ride. I actually forgot about the Nemo ride. We had been there back in 2014, and we did Turtle Talk with Crush, I think it was. So I thought that was the Nemo ride, and that was kind of a weird experience. But oh well, it is what it is. So we found a PhotoPass photographer, and we got pictures in front of Spaceship Earth. And then we headed over to go walk through the World Showcase again. And we went to Canada and got some maple popcorn. Oh, that popcorn's so good. Yes,
that popcorn is really good.
I loved that popcorn. It was so good. So as we were walking through, I guess between Canada and the UK, they had the Jammers, the guys playing the drums on the trash cans. That was kind of cool. So we headed over to France so Cameron and I could get drinks that we liked. I was so excited to get my Citron slush again. And he got the sour beer, and the boys got the tropical freeze from Isla Fresca because Aiden, I think, was trying to recreate the Orange Bird smoothie.
Yep. I wanted to find something as good as that.
But he did not like this drink at all. Asher loved it, and he ended up drinking Aiden's as well.
Yeah, so it was this mango drink. I'm not really a huge mango guy, but Asher loves mango. Like, he loved this drink.
So we walked over to Japan, and the kids got big snow cones from Kabuki Cafe. Y'all liked those, didn't you?
Oh, yes. Those were good.
And they're huge.
Yeah, they're huge. But they were really cool.
They were good. So Cameron went to Katsuri Grill and got the chicken teriyaki and the yuzu miso wings for him and I to share. And we found a table kind of back behind the tower in Japan. It's like in the shade.
It's like right next to that restaurant.
It's right by Katsuri Grill and right behind the snow cone place. And it was so nice just sitting there in the shade. And there's like a little river, I think, that runs through. So it's like you can hear water.
And they're just picnic tables. It's just this really like nice.
Yeah.
Relaxing area.
It was great. And the food was so good. Oh my gosh. The chicken teriyaki and the miso wings are so good. The miso wings are my favorite. I loved it. This was another kind of favorite moment of the trip for me. So after that, we stopped in Italy and got pizza. We got it from Primavera Kitchen. And we got 5 margarita pizzas in the arancini, which was like rice balls. And the pizza was so good that we went back and got 3 more.
Like, it was one of the best pizzas there. Like, it tasted so. It was one of the best, like, foods we had at Disney. Like, it was just so good. It
It was so
tasted
good.
amazing.
I think we could have even ate more. We just kind of had to stop.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Like even Amelia loved it, and she's really like give or take on pizza, and she
hmm
loved it. It was just so good. And we got a table right by the water right there, and that was a really nice moment. Relaxing.
Yes.
I think that's the best thing we ate at Epcot.
That was one of the best things I ate, period. One of. Not the best, though.
So after the pizza, we had to stop back in Germany and get the grapefruit beer because this was going to be the last time we got it, and it was so good. And after that, we just walked along until we made it back to the front. We walked by Frozen, but the line was 60 minutes, and I just asked Amelia, if you want to wait, we'll wait for it. And she was like, no, I don't really care. I told her it was just like a slow boat ride, and she's like, no, I want to go to Animal Kingdom, so we left. And out by Spaceship Earth, Donald and Goofy were out there, so we got Amelia pictures with them, and then we got on a bus to Animal Kingdom. We didn't have to wait very long. I think we waited a little bit, but it wasn't that big of a deal. And then we got to Animal Kingdom at 5, and they closed at 8. And rain was coming in, and so we kind of had to work fast. We had to figure out what we wanted to do and get it done. So we went straight over to Expedition Everest and pretty much walked on that ride. And we all rode it. Amelia even rode it again.
We already talked about this ride in the last episode, but it's one of the best rides at Animal Kingdom. It's just so fun. It's such a fun roller coaster.
It is fun. Asher really wanted to just ride it again since there was no wait, but we had other things we needed to do, and I didn't want to run out of time, so we didn't. As we were walking to Africa, we stopped and saw some monkeys. They were being silly, so we watched them for a little bit. Then we headed over to the safari. We waited about 20 minutes. I think it was posted at 30, but we waited about 20. And it was a really great safari ride. We saw lots of animals. And we even got to see 2 lions being playful with each other. Oh, that was so cool.
It was so cute. So they were talking about the lions. And then one of the female lions went to go see the big one, and they just started snuggling, and it was so cute.
Well, he was sleeping, and she went and woke him up.
Uh-huh.
She was like hitting him in the face with her paw.
It was adorable. It made my heart sink.
It was so cute because then they kind of snuggled, and then she walked away. That was so fun. I love that. And then after the safari, we kind of stopped and looked at some shops in Africa and just started walking over to Pandora to ride Flight of Passage again. We waited about 50 minutes. I think it was posted at 60 and we waited 50. It was a longer wait, but again, I love this ride. The queue's really beautiful, so I didn't really care.
It was just worth it. This ride is so good.
The first time we rode Flight of Passage, I sat by Amelia, and she would yell, "Oh my gosh, wow!" And so I told her, go sit by your dad, because I wanted him to experience that, because it was just so cute. She would get so excited about it. And after the ride, he was like, that was really fun. So we got drinks again at Pongu Pongu, and this time I got the Night Blossom, or the Rum Blossom that Cameron got last time, and we got the boys the Night Blossoms with no boba, and you liked this better, didn't you?
Yes, it was better without the boba. Still a really good drink. Not as good as the Orangeburg one though.
Yeah, this was a great drink spot. We never rode Navi River Journey. This line was so crazy long, and it always was at 120 minutes when we were over there. And I had read that it's not worth waiting for, and I just couldn't even believe how long this line was.
Like, it was crazy how long that line lasted.
It just did not seem like it would be worth it. At this point, it was kind of starting to look like you could tell the rain was coming in, and so we were planning on leaving the park because we were also hungry, but nothing there kind of felt like Cameron was like, I don't really feel like any of this food. So as we were walking out, we decided to stop by It's tough to be a bug because there was no wait. And I had wanted Amelia to do this ride because I just think it's funny. And the last time we were at Animal Kingdom, it had a really long wait, but it's not that great to wait. So we went ahead and went in, and I love walking into that ride because you're like right there at the Tree of Life and you get to see everything up close, and it's just so much fun. So we did that ride. What do you think about that ride?
It's a really fun experience. It's only like super fun if you're taking someone that either completely doesn't remember it or has never been on it, because it's one of those like first experiences, just seeing how people react to it or seeing how you'll react to it. Like,
did you remember it?
No, I didn't. So it was a fresh experience.
It's funny. It's a funny ride. So at this point, when we got off that ride, the weather was looking really rough, and I thought about going and trying to do Dinosaur. I couldn't remember if we liked Dinosaur the last time we were there. But Aiden really wanted to leave. He was like, it's about to pour. We need to leave.
Yeah.
So we left, and as soon as we got to the covered bus area, it started pouring down rain. Like, as soon as we walked under the cover, it started pouring down rain.
I knew it. Like,
and then everyone is leaving the park, like running out. We had to wait a really long time for a bus. Animal Kingdom is the worst park for transportation.
Or just buses. Like, it's so far from everything, it takes forever for a bus to come.
And it almost became a joke because there were so many Blizzard Beach buses. Like, so many. Anywhere
we went. Like, there were like 5 Blizzard beaches, just buses to one other bus.
And there was no one on the buses, and there was never anyone even waiting to go to Blizzard Beach. Because even though it was hot this morning, it was really cloudy, and then it was like rainy. So who's going to go to Blizzard Beach when it's raining?
Yeah, nobody went. On our entire trip, I don't think we saw one person go to Blizzard Beach. And there were so many buses.
So many buses.
It was crazy.
It was like every other bus was a Blizzard Beach bus. I don't really understand how they got that so messed up. So we got back to the resort at 7 p.m. and we were all hungry. So we just stopped by Landscape of Flavors and we ate in the restaurant for the first time. Cameron and Aiden and Asher got burgers and fries, and they said it was good. I got the kids chicken strips and french fries, and I liked that. And Amelia just ate french fries. And so it was nice. This was a nice little dinner. It was very laid back and relaxing. And as we were walking back to our room, the rain had stopped. I think the rain stopped maybe before we even got on the bus. It didn't rain a long time. We walked back through Cars Land and took some more pictures, and it was dark outside and everything was lit up and it was real pretty. And then once we were in the room, Cameron and Aiden started playing with their lightsabers and taking them apart and showing me how they worked. And then Cameron couldn't get his to go back together. It was like broken.
Yes.
And it wouldn't light up. And he was like, well, I guess it's broken. And I said, oh no, we have to figure out a way to fix this. That was not cheap. Like it shouldn't.
We can't just have that be broken.
Well, yeah, and Aiden took his apart and put it back together, and it was fine. And so something was wrong with his. It's not like he did it. So we had planned out that the next morning I was going to wake up early and head over to Hollywood Studios on the Skyliner and try to get it fixed at guest services while he stayed back and packed up the room. So overall, this day, Epcot was a little bit busier than the day before, but it was still really fun. I wish we could have done the Frozen ride, but next time we'll have to do it next time.
Yeah, this was a really fun day. It was very laid back because we didn't have anything we were rushing to or needed to be at. It was just we did what we wanted and then we went home.
Yeah, it was a great day, and I loved Animal Kingdom. This whole trip, I just loved Animal Kingdom, so it was fun to me to be there. So our travel day home was Friday, March 19th. I woke up early, I got coffee and got dressed and headed to the Skyliner with the broken lightsaber. And the line to get on it was really long. It was all the way down Pop Century, but I didn't care. I was by myself. I just popped in my earbuds and listened to a podcast and drank my coffee. And then I think I waited 30 minutes and got on the Skyliner to head over to Caribbean Beach and then stood in another line for about 20 minutes before I could head over to Hollywood Studios. Once I was there, I went over to guest services and told them what happened. And a lady came out and she looked at the lightsaber. And then she said she was going to take it back and let someone else look at it. And then about 10 minutes later, she came back and said, yes, that something was wrong with the equipment. And so they were going to replace it for us. And I was so happy because they were so super nice. And it felt like all of that traveling and waiting that morning was worth it.
Mm-hmm. Because if they said no, that would have been so annoying.
I would have been really surprised if they said no, honestly. I probably would have fought it for a little bit. So I texted Cameron and said, yay, they're going to replace it. And he said, I'm just packing up the room. So, get back when you can. I waited about 20 minutes and she came back with a brand new lightsaber and showed it to me and it was perfect. And so that was great. So I got back on the Skyliner. There was no line to go back. I ordered breakfast while I was on the Skyliner. And it was actually kind of nice riding the Skyliner by myself. Very relaxing. Once I got back to
the Skyliner is super relaxing. It's just such a long wait.
It is. I really like it. I just think you kind of have to, as long as you're not trying to ride it when parks are opening, I think you'd be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like
or when they're closing,
we're closing. So once I got back to Art of Animation, I went and picked up our breakfast, took it back to the room. Everyone was almost done packing. We ate breakfast and we left the room. We walked over to the Lion King side since we hadn't seen it yet and took some pictures. And we ordered an Uber and headed back to MCO. Security there was so long. I think we waited like 40 minutes in security. But we had given ourselves plenty of time, so it was no big deal.
Mm-hmm. Most of us just either listened to something or did their phones while we waited, so it wasn't really that big of a deal.
Yeah, we were so tired. And we had already had a lot of family time, so we were just good. Missing on our phones. Usually I'm always like, get off your phone. But I didn't care. I was like, whatever. Once we were in our area where our flight was leaving, we were like, oh, we're going to get food. There was nothing open. I think that's something also that people should think about is the airports are not running at 100%. So we found the only place we could get food and we sat there and ate. And then our flight left around 12 and we got home around 3:30.
Yep.
So what are some things that you loved on this trip? Tell me one thing that you loved.
Well, I should say more than one thing because you know what I'm going to say. The orange bird drink. Oh, man. That drink was so good. Other than that, Pandora, Flight of Passage, really, just Pandora in general. Galaxy's Edge, what is it? The Star Wars ride. Can't remember what it's called. Rise of the Resistance. Yes, that ride. Just Hollywood Studios in general. Love Hollywood Studios. Epcot this time. So whenever I went, when I first went to Disney, I didn't really enjoy Epcot as much because I was littler and I really just wanted to do the rides and stuff like that. But this time I got to take in the scenery and really enjoy it. So Epcot went from being one of my least favorite parks to one of my favorite. Like I say, it's a more mature park. It's for people that want to take in the details and just like scenery. Because it's just, if you are like that, then this park's perfect for you. Animal Kingdom was a lot more fun this time. But really just Pandora. Pandora was just so good. And Magic Kingdom was just Magic Kingdom. It wasn't much different from whenever I last went. It was really the same thing, just really fun overall. And yeah, that's all the parks. That's what I liked.
That's awesome. I like hearing that. So things that I loved was I loved eating at the resorts. We had never done this before. We had only ever ate in parks, and the resorts have better restaurants than the parks. I loved Beaches and Cream. I loved Sanaa. I loved California Grill.
Oh, I forgot to talk about Beaches and Cream. I love that. Yeah, there were some of the restaurants. Yeah, like the 90s one, Primetime, California Grill, Beaches and Cream. Those were all really good restaurants. And if you can go to them, then you should. Like, they're, like, if you can, then they're must-dos.
Yeah. I think if you get a chance to definitely try eating at the resorts. It was fun, especially when we were at the park, to leave the park to go to the resort to come back. It was a nice break in the day. And I also enjoyed seeing other resorts. Aiden wants to stay at the beach resort because of the pool. He was like, next time we have to stay here. It was just fun getting to see them. I really loved Animal Kingdom Lodge. I would love to stay there. Even the Swan and Dolphin would be great.
Mm-hmm.
I also loved the cavalcades. I liked them more than parades. I really loved parades and was sad they weren't going to be there. But the one thing I don't like about parades is how much time it takes. You have to really sit, get a seat, and wait. And then wait for the parade, and then it's all crowded. And so just being able to get like little glimpses of parade as you are on your way to a ride or to a restaurant, I thought it was nice. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
And I also love the way they do characters. I loved not having to stand in line for characters because our first trip, we spent hours standing in line to see characters. I think it's so fun to have them pop out and your kid can just go stand in front of them, get a picture, and you're done. And maybe that's because my kids are older. Amelia was really the only one interested, but she thought it was so much fun. Like, she enjoyed it.
I thought they did characters really smart.
Yeah.
This time. I liked it better than when you had to wait in line to get the characters. Because there weren't as much characters, but it was also like you didn't have to wait forever to do them. So.
Yeah, agreed. I think Park Hopper is a must-have, especially during the way they are running the parks right now, where not all the rides or not all the restaurants open. Being able to move around and go to different parks, I think is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved having a non-park day. This is something else I never thought we were going to do, but getting to have that day where we played miniature golf and we just kind of did whatever we felt like was really nice as well. I enjoyed it. So what is something you didn't like?
Something I didn't like. See, that's going to be hard. I didn't like how long some of the lines are. Like, some of the, like, I know you go to Disney and you expect really long lines, but there's some rides that just, like, you want to do it because, like, it's a classic, but it's just not worth that super long line. Because then there's some rides you go on, and then there's, like, not even a line. And then there's some, and they're not even that good, and then their line is just crazy long. I also didn't like the Skyliner situation. I wish we got to use them more and didn't have to wait as long. That was kind of disappointing.
I would say transportation in general was kind of a disappointment.
Yes,
We did have bus luck every now and then. I just don't love the buses, and they're not loading them at 100%. And I just honestly when we go back, I would look into renting a car. I think being able to be in control of your own transportation would be best.
Yes,
Especially if you're going to park hop. I feel waiting for the bus and it taking an hour to get from Animal Kingdom to Magic Kingdom like it did for us that day. Oh my gosh. It just would have been so much faster if we had rented our own car.
Would have taken like 15 minutes.
So as far as our resort, I did not like how far our room was from the main lobby. I was the one who kind of went and got food every morning, and it was a really long walk. I would probably stay in the Nemo rooms or recommend staying in the Nemo rooms because they're right there. I wondered before we left, why are the Nemo rooms more expensive? Now I know. It's right by the lobby. You don't have to walk that far. I think if you're going to stay at the Art of Animation, it really is for younger kids. The pools aren't great, and the Big Blue Pool was closed while we were there, but even just looking at it, it's kind of just more geared for younger kids.
Yeah, if you're going with a whole bunch of older people, I highly suggest some of the other places, like the Caribbean Beach, what's the other one? The Yacht and Beach Club, Swan and Dolphin. Oh, any of the ones that are closer to the parks.
Yeah, that's something else we figured out is before we went, I didn't think resort location was going to be important to us. Now I know that resort location is very important. We would all prefer staying at a resort where we could at least walk to one park.
Mm-hmm. I would say the Swan and Dolphin or the Yacht and Beach Club are one of the best hotels, just because they're so close to Hollywood Studios and Epcot.
Or the boardwalk, because it's right there too.
Yes, that too.
You could, being just so close where you can walk if you want. It's not just one type of transportation. You could walk.
And there were so much transportation options, like buses, the boats. You could take a boat to use the Skyliner.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't even need to do that because you were so close to the other two parks.
Right. I loved that whole area right there. Mm-hmm. I think it'd be fun to stay over there.
It's also right next to the mini golf area.
Mm-hmm. It was just a great location. I didn't like the shorter park hours. I really would have. We would have done better staying late and not. Well, we never really made it early to any park except one. But I would have liked the option where the park stayed open later, so we could stay later if we wanted. I think we would have had a chance to do more of the rides we wanted to, especially at Magic Kingdom.
Yep.
And I miss the fireworks. I love fireworks, and the fireworks are always so nice, so I miss that. I will be excited when those come back.
I agree.
Overall, it was a great trip. I loved it. How about you?
Yeah. The very, very minimal dislikes. Most of them are just transportation. But other than that, it was just a great trip.
Overall. It was a great trip. We had so much fun. Well, thanks for coming on the show, Aiden. You were my first guest, and I was so excited to have you.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right. Talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you enjoyed hearing about our family's spring break vacation. Visit our Instagram page at Disney Travel Tales for pictures from our vacation and of upcoming guests. If you would like more information on how our sponsor, Trolley Lane Travel, can help you plan your next Disney vacation, please visit trolleylanetravel.com. Be sure to mention that Disney Travel Tales sent you. When you plan a trip with Trolley Lane Travel and would like to be featured on the show, let your agent know. This is how we get our guests, and of course, the show would not be successful without your vacation stories. And finally, please help support the podcast by rating and reviewing it on the platform that you are listening. This is the best way for people to become familiar with the show. Join us next Tuesday for a new episode with a new guest who was a first-timer at Disney World. You are going to love her travel adventure stories. Until then, this is Jenny, and may all your Disney travel dreams become a reality.